Hello, investors. This is Ted Zhang, portfolio manager at Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, July 22nd, 5:09 p.m., coming to you from Vienna, Virginia, with tonight's Review Roundup Daily Market Insight video. So I took a couple week break, had to deal with some personal family issues, um, just parent health condition, and I'm currently in Vienna, moved out of Florida and heading up to New York City soon. So for those of you in the New York City area, let me know if you want to get a meal or meet up sometime. So market state still in the uptrend. Looking at the GROTECTION gauge, we have the four coveted green arrows with the yellow stop sign. Still a little bit, tad bit extended above the 50-day moving average. And I want to apologize a little bit. My speech is a little messed up because I did bite my lip, so I'm trying to do my best to fight through the pain. What happened today? One of the longest trends above the 21 EMA in history is happening right now. 61 days above the 21 EMA, and we'll get into that a little bit later. 21 over 21 list down 0.83%. 8 up, 13 down. Circle is down 8.2%. Turbo 12 down 1.2%. 4 up, 8 down. SEDG up 11%. From these, we can kind of see some of the momentum leaders have started to wane, and we'll show a few examples later. And it just makes sense since we're over 60 days above 21 EMA. This is long in the tooth of this recent rally. That doesn't mean we can't head higher, but we're definitely in the later innings. Big 8 down 0.79%. RG8 pretty much flat, up 0.09%. S&P up 0.06%. RSP up 1.27%. Qs up 0.52%. QQEW up 0.48%. Dow Jones up 0.40%. Mid caps up 1.30%. Small caps up 0.79%. 60/40s equities bond up 0.16%. GROTECTION down 0.25%. And Turbo down 0.71%. When we look at today's summary, you can see RSP, QQEW, Dow, midcaps, and Russell were green, while the tech-heavy weighted indexes S&P and Nasdaq were red. Just some distribution in tech and weakness in tech, while the rest of the market are seeing some bidders. And this could likely be because the market is starting to discount lower rates potentially coming in the future. Maybe in the July FOMC, but more likely in September FOMC meeting. So jumping right into it as always, starting off with the chart of the S&P 500. Let me bring this down a little bit. You can see it's trending 61 days above the 21 EMA. Really can't complain about any action. We have full moving average alignment, 21 above the 50, above the 200-day moving average. Today, we gapped up a little bit, sold down, and then rallied to close near highs of the day. On volume as well, so subtle sign of accumulation. RSP starting to break out this cup handle. Perfect action. Over 188, and that is pretty much new all-time highs. So looking at the S&P 493, we're kind of just getting started here. Qs, trying to move the 21 EMA as well. Nothing too much to talk about. Just riding the wave. QQEW, breaking out into new all-time highs actually from this higher handle. Great action to see the rest of the market participate. Dow Jones forming this really, really constructive handle. Volume elevated, perhaps we break out tomorrow. Mid caps also looking to poke its head above this handle after a shakeout. These are great to see in handles when you do have a shakeout. That is just strong hands trying to rinse out the weak hands, buying it back up, and then sending it higher. Russell, same thing, shakeout, now getting tight. That's the flag that we're looking at here. The VIX stays suppressed below 17, exactly what we like to see. If we continue to break down even to this 10 to 14 area, perhaps we get an even smoother uptrend. But right now, cannot complain. Already, it has been quite smooth. Dollar rallied, counter trend rallied to 50-day, breaking this bear flag, looking to test the lows again. Dollar just has been so weak. You know, the big, beautiful bills adding trillions to the debt. Tariff wars are going on, and people are just selling our bonds and selling our currency. They don't want to rely on the dollar. Um, the world, definitely some countries like Russia, China, Iran, it's in their best interest to kind of step aside from the dollar and call it de-dollarization. Gold, just amazing action. Huge weekly base, testing previous all-time highs here. Huge volume coming in. This looks like all-time highs could potentially be coming soon. Um, GDX also breaking out of this downtrend line and this flag here. Volume come in as well as gold stays strong. Silver, new all-time highs. Just amazing action on the weekly. Broke out here, just trending the 21 EMA perfectly. Bitcoin, IVIT chart looks great. Broke out of this handle. Huge volume came in. This consolidation flag here. Volume dried up. And on the 60-minute, looks like we're starting to get going here. We closed a little weak, but after hours, we're up 27 basis points. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see if we can follow through something like that tomorrow. Bonds, seeing some bidders as rates. You can see rates are dropping just a few basis points on the 2-year and the 10-year. We are supposed to potentially see some rate cuts soon, especially with the disinflationary data. Core inflation's around 2.4%. Labor market stays relatively strong. So we'll see what happens with the Fed. And that is it for bonds. I just want to mention one more thing that you probably haven't seen before. Let's talk about Ethereum. We had this in Turbo. Really great trade out of this load sheet. It's been a 46% trade so far, and we're about 33% trimmed in there. Just pure volume accumulation, and this is catalyzed by the Genius Act. We're building stable coins through the Ethereum blockchain network as well. Solana, we own this in Coin Turbo as well. Over 185, we bought a small position. Now it's over 200. I'm watching this 210 area for potential handle to form or some sort of consolidation pivot for more ads. And then finally, I want to bring up this BTC.D, which is the market cap dominance as a percentage of total market cap. We've pretty much seen 2 weeks down in a row. Bitcoin is back to longer term moving average or this dominance percentage. So if we get a bounce, even 50% retracement, that is when I expect Bitcoin to break out. So that is it for the inter-asset correlation. Now I want to jump to the tail of the tape. CNN Fear and Greed 73 down 1 from yesterday. We're operating under the bull case, of course, above the 21 EMA. The news today, we had Northrop Grumman, DHI, home builder, MEDP, biomedical company earnings, and they all reacted quite well. Let's go to NOC real quick. Got down to the base into new blue skies, all-time high. We're not really quite interested in his name. As you can see, the weekly, it's just so choppy. It doesn't really have any linear moves. DHI, home builders, turning up in the stage 2 uptrend. Actually, a really nice move today, back above the 200-day moving average. What they saw was a 47-cent earnings beat, revenue 9.23 billion, well ahead of consensus, and net orders and closings both came in strong. This is definitely a reflection of the robust economy as well. We have economists saying that the U.S. is heading for depression on tariffs. That has not happened, of course. So many times the economist is so wrong. That's why price is always truth. And finally, the last one I wanted to touch on was MEDP. This one also got into all-time highs on huge volume, and they also just had a massive earnings beat as well. So going back to the tail of the tape, today's keys, we're watching the S&P versus the AE in all-time high, which we reclaimed. The AE was still below all-time high. Qs versus the AE in all-time high, and the Russell versus the AE in 2276. Day count breakout. We had a breakout over 2 and the consolidation 3 now. 21 days above the 8 EMA, 61 days above the 21 EMA. This is actually, I think, a record high not seen since 1998, where we were trending 60 days above the 21 EMA. Short-term expectations are positive, but we are noting in the context of this market, we're definitely later in this intermediate uptrend, and we're seeing some momentum wane in many leaders as well. So strong sectors, bonds were up, bond yields were down, dollar is up, healthcare, real estate, home builders, IGB, Bitcoin miners, since Bitcoin is strong, gold miners, and copper as well. Dollar was down. Um, sorry, dollar was down, so this shouldn't be here. Tech, semis, and quantum are down as well. In GROTECTION, we bought MP, which is something we've been stocking with a 60 stow cross, still a tad bit extended, so we took a starter. This is a rare earth play with the Department of Defense contract and then the Apple contract, trading pretty much near blue skies territory. So 1.39 beta, 5.43% open heat, turbo. We sold QBTS, quantum was weak, and we bought yen, 1.87 beta, 5.26% open heat. QBTS, just a failed breakout and follow through, just took our stepped out of the way. And then yen is the 3x Chinese exposure, showing good feedback on day one. When we look at KWEB, the ETF, you can see looking for a huge potential breakout out of this triangle flag. And it's really starting to build, look, higher lows, super tight consolidation. We'll see what happens here with China. Broke that out as well. So, bottom line, one of the longest trends above the 21 EMA in history. Tomorrow's keys are still having the same keys. And with that being said, let's talk about some names of interest. We went through the buys, MP, China, sold QBTS. I wanted to talk about Circle, which was a news failure off the Genius Act. We reversed and followed through to the downside. One of the stronger momentum names. CoreWeave is another one that was a strong momentum name that made 300% plus gain and has faded back to the 50-day. Oost is a LiDAR name, starting to show cracks. AEVA is in this group showing some cracks. Nuclear showing some cracks, making a new high, but coming back in. Oklo, bearish engulfing, coming back in as well. MBIZ, seen some volatility too. ASTS reversed and held well, but also seen some volatility. So those are signs that just the momentum has lasted quite a while. We are pretty long in the rally, and it's starting to show some signs of faltering. So just taking the signs as we will, we're still in the uptrend. We're still trailing our positions, and we'll see how it plays out day by day. Now onto the 21 over 21 list. Actually, give me 1 second. Yeah, onto the 21 over 21 list. Just going to review the top 5 gainers and top 5 losers. Gold miners already covered it, broke this downtrend line, up 2.75%. Iron bounced back a little bit after the highest volume ever failed breakout. Bitcoin is really strong, looking to break out of this flag. I think there's follow through tomorrow. Would love to see this rip to 70. MP, talked about this already, and SCX trending higher on copper. On the downside, Circle has been that news failure of the Genius Act. So much of it has been priced in, and we've continued to the downside. AVAV gap down, still below the 21 EMA though. GEV trending back down to the 21 EMA as well. CRDO undercut, reclaim the 21 EMA, but this is starting to lose some momentum. As you can see, we trended above the 21 EMA the whole time, not even touching it, and now we're touching it and actually breaking it. NVIDIA also cracked this upper trend line, looking for a touch back to the 21 EMA, and then Hood seen some weakness out the highs as well, but not even touching the 21 EMA yet. Finally, Turbo 12, the biggest up name was SEDG, breaking out this flag. It just looks amazing out of this weekly base. And this has been a name that's been quite beaten down. Very linearly trending name. You can see earnings are starting to come in positive. Expectations are supposed to be positive, so this is a potential real turnaround situation. I don't really see any resistance until like $66. So This could be a really nice move here. Looking to find ways to get in. Herein, we already talked about. ASTS as well. TSSI is a new ad. Potentially looking to build this flag. Just keeping track of that. On the downside, boost, gap down, found support 25 and the 21 EMA. End up closing higher. But it's just the sloppier action is not what you want to see. And it's definitely an indication of later stages in the market. KTOS also gapped down. Blue, similar thing. Huge rejection off 250, but held 210. So this looks good for now, but as you can see, still some selling pressure coming in. We're turning this around the 21 EMA as well. And finally, MIR is still trending above the 21 EMA. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap up today's video. Happy to be back. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at ted@revereasset.com. Twitter X is TedHZhang. Our phone is 855 Real Wealth. That's 855-732-5932. Website's revereasset.com. And our social medias, YouTube, X, IG, TikTok is all Revere Asset. If you enjoy our content, please like, share, and subscribe. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up today's video. It's Tuesday, July 22nd. This is Ted Zhang, Portfolio Manager at Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thank you for listening, and have a great rest of your day and week.